Hello, Doctor Who fans, and welcome to my latest Doctor Who review, where today I review Mawdryn Undead. This is the 125th Doctor Who story overall, and I believe it is the third serial of Peter Davison's second season as the Fifth Doctor. So, the plot of this story is as follows. A warp ellipse draws the TARDIS off course. The Fifth Doctor's companions are separated from him, not in space, but in time, and he has to deal with a treacherous schoolboy named Turlo. But why does the Doctor's old friend the Brigadier not remember him at all? Okay, so Mawdryn Undead. Well, this is a very good Doctor Who story. I was really impressed with this. It was a lot better than I expected it to be. I don't know, I guess I've kind of lowered my expectations watching JNT's stories now. But no, I really like Mawdryn Undead. I'm not going to say it's perfect. It's not a perfect 10 out of 10, but it is easily so far the best of this season. Again, so far, I haven't seen the last 3 stories. I mean, we're officially halfway through the season now because there's only 6 stories. But I really like this one, and, you know, moreover for the fact that we also have Nicholas Courtney in this story as the Brig. Yes, Brigadier returns in this story, and interesting to see him in a different place now. He's retired from UNIT, he's a school teacher, and he's looking obviously a bit older. And he doesn't remember the Doctor at first, but after a while, he does manage to get his memories back, and it's a lovely moment when he reunites with the Doctor, and Peter Davison and Nicholas Courtney do play that moment very well, and it's great to have him back. There's also a younger version of the Brig as well, because Tegan goes to another point in time. She goes back in time to retrieve another Brigadier, and obviously they try not to have the two of them cross over because that would create a paradox. But anyway, Nicholas Courtney is great in this story. It's lovely to have him back, and he's just delightful. He's just really delightful as always, and you can see he's a changed man. He really is different to how he used to be. UNIT has, he's left UNIT, and he's kind of put that in the past, and he just wants to settle down and have a nice rest of his life, and I don't blame him for that. But it's nice to have him back for one more adventure, and obviously he will return in a couple of other appearances in the classic series as well. I think in Sylvester McCoy's era he comes back as well, and I think one time in Colin Baker's era, so we'll see him again. But in terms of his regular appearances, this is, the Pertwee era was kind of his main thing, but yeah, great to have Nicholas Courtney back. Really great to have him back. I really like the story of this one, how the villain Mordred, it was not really a villain as such, just kind of someone who's struggling with regeneration. I think it's an interesting idea that these other aliens can regenerate, but they can't stop regenerating. They basically want to die. They want to die a peaceful life. They don't want this immortality, but it causes an awkward dilemma for the Doctor, because the Doctor would have to give up his regenerations for them. He would have to give up being a Time Lord to do so. So it would almost be sort of like it's the Doctor's choice of him or them. So that's a really dramatic dramatic dilemma for the Doctor. But I think it's a really interesting narrative, and I think the character of Turlo is also very good. Turlo, played by Mark Strickson, he's actually an alien who's been trapped on Earth, but he's actually a prisoner to the Black Guardian who appeared in the Key to Time season with Tom Baker. In this story, Turlo is being forced to kill the Doctor, and then he will be set free. But Turlo is very conflicted because he doesn't think the Doctor is all bad, and he doesn't want to kill. Like, he doesn't see himself as a killer, as a murderer. He just wants an easy life. He doesn't want any of this. But he's an interesting character. But obviously, Tegan and Nyssa aren't that trusting of him at first. The Doctor kind of, willingly trusts him, well, without questioning him. But Tegan and Nyssa are constantly questioning him. So Turlo's role in the story kind of flip-flops, but in the end he does prove his loyalty, and he does stand up with the Doctor, and he ends up kind of forcing his way into the TARDIS crew at the end, which is kind of nice, I suppose. But I mean, there's more of him to see in the next few stories, but I like his story here. I mean, he's a very conflicted person, and I like his character because he's not evil. He's not evil incarnate. He's just someone in a very bad situation. and you do feel for the guy. You feel sorry for him, and he's a very empathetic character. He may not be human, but he certainly has some human qualities. He has some very emotional qualities, and I think that's what's really appealing about him. I suppose it's a slight contradiction or slight juxtaposition, but yeah, I like Turlo, and I look forward to seeing his future involvements in the Davison era. I like Janet Fielding and Sarah Sutton as Tegan and Nyssa. They both get some good roles to do. They both get the same amount of screen time at one point, and at one point, due to some unfortunate incidents, they actually start to look all decrepit. Like their bodies start to decompose due to something in relation to what happens. I won't spoil it, but that looks really freaky, and they do a good job there. And they actually have some child actors come in and play the children of Tegan and Nyssa, because again, something happens that I won't explain, but it's like time sort of reverses and then time goes forward. It's interesting. It's interesting, but them as they are in the story are very good. But I don't think Tegan needed to mention the Mara. I think we could have just left that to bed. I mean, it's only a passing mention, but and naturally, of course, she's going to have a bit of PTSD. But the fact that she's still kind of worried about it is kind of unnecessary in the story. I mean, at the very beginning, the Doctor's like, Tegan. You know, I've already told you the Mara's is dead. The Mara's not going to infect you anymore. But that's just a little tiny nitpick. Peter Davison as well. He's good in the story. He's just come into his own. He's relaxed. He's comfortable in the role. Again, I'm not going to repeat myself, but I like Davison in this one. He's got some good performances. Although he does, in this particular story, more so than some of his others, I've noticed he does seem to have a bit of a breathing problem. I mean, he runs out of breath very quickly. So he's the Doctor I always refer to as the asthmatic Doctor. I actually have asthma myself. And believe me, you know, look at me. Do I look like someone who does a lot of running? Let's be honest. I don't like running. I've always struggled with it because of the asthma. And I'm not saying Davison has asthma. He may well do. I don't know. But I always make the comparison that his Doctor is asthmatic. Every time he speaks, he has to breathe like this. Just give me a moment to catch my breath. It's like he can't stop. He can't finish his sentence without taking a breath. I just find it slightly amusing. That's all. It's not too much of a detriment to the story, but it's just something so it's kind of mildly amusing observation. But yeah, Davison is all right. You know, he's fine in the story. Valentine Dial as the Black Guardian. He returns. He was in the Key to Time season, but he's just a bit older now. But yeah, he's very good. There are parts when you just do feel like he's kind of he's slightly hamming it when he's you know, he's going, "You are my prisoner. Moo-ha-ha, I'm so evil." You know, you do kind of get those vibes. He is a bit pantomimey, but I'm not saying he's on the level of Soldeed from the Horns of Naimon or Khalid / the Master from Time Flight, but yeah, he's got a couple of hammy moments, but he's generally quite good, and I like his costume. And I know that there is a special edition. They've updated the visual effects, the visual effects for this story, which do look slightly more passable. And obviously, David Collins as Mawdryn is also very good. One of my minor criticisms of this story is that some scenes do become a bit talky, and yeah, it's just kind of like they do just talk for quite a while. So some of the pacing is a tad bit slow, but it's not too bad. It is a quicker paced story than the previous one, so I'll say that. And my one other criticism is that when they mistake Mawdryn for the Doctor, I mean, what? Like, that's ridiculous. The Doctor and Mawdryn look nothing alike, they sound nothing alike, and I don't get it. I just think it's a stupid part of the plot to have them be confused with Mawdryn. I think that's ridiculous, to be perfectly honest. One of my favourite scenes, which is probably the best scene in the story, is when the Doctor and the Brig are, you know, when they sit down and have tea, and then he remembers all of their adventures from the previous stories. They have flashbacks to William Hartnell, Patrick Troughton, John Pertwee, Tom Baker. So that's a nice sort of thread of continuity there, and it's a nice nostalgic moment. And as we see the Brig remember all of his past the past adventures with the Doctor. So that was nice. So there's a nice element of nostalgia in this story, and the script is genuinely pretty solid, and it's a genuinely good story written by Peter Grimwade. Well, Of course, he's a great writer. He's a fantastic writer. And Peter Moffat's direction is also very good. And I actually really do like the set as well. The set of the Mawdryn ship is very, very swanky. It looks almost like a room in a palace. It looks that good. My only other niggle is the costumes of the Mawdryn, I think, are a bit silly. I think that some of the colours are just too camp. It just doesn't fit with the look of the ship. To me, it's mismatched. It's only a tiny criticism, but yeah, it's a criticism nonetheless. So overall, I don't have too much else to say about this one. I think Mawdryn Undead is a great story. Probably the best in the season so far. We'll see if anything tops it, but you know, who knows. And yeah, I'm going to give this story a 9 out of 10. So that's my review of Mawdryn Undead. Please leave a comment down below, let me know what you think. Please subscribe if you haven't already for more Doctor Who reviews and more movie reviews and other related content. And yeah, next time we are going to be reviewing Terminus. Yes, Terminus, which I believe is Nissa's final story. So yeah, we'll be saying goodbye to Nissa very soon, which is a real shame. I like Nissa. But more on that next time. So, and welcome Turlo. Yes, welcome Turlo, the new companion for Peter Davison. So that's pretty much it, folks. Thank you very much for watching this review, and stay tuned next time when I review Terminus. So until next time, I'm Mr. TARDIS11. See you soon. Bye for now.